Hello, you guys. Welcome back to As Told by Kenya. I am back for my Kenya Has Thoughts. It was my birthday, so I've taken a little time off of giving you guys videos. I apologize for that, but we are back to the weekly Kenya Has Thoughts. We have a few things to discuss with you guys. I have a few things to discuss with you guys. Number one, I want to start off by saying the Sephora sale is going on right now. They're like VIB sale. I know Rouge started on like the 27th. I don't know when the sale ends, but if the sale is not over when you are watching this, I have a recommendation for you, and you can decide to take it or you can decide not to. But this has like literally changed my life. Okay, so a few months ago, I would say about 6 months ago, I made this decision that I was going to have travel bags already prepared. So all of my toiletries and all of my makeup, I was going to put in a bag, in a travel size bag, and I was just going to put them away. So I went on Sephora and I purchased all of my makeup in a travel size. So everything that I could get in a travel size, I got in a travel size. And then I went into my own makeup collection and I pulled out like a travel foundation. I pulled out a travel concealer, like all of that, and I put it all in a bag. Then I went and got some makeup brushes as well. So maybe 4 makeup brushes and a beauty blender. I put it all in a makeup bag and I put it under my sink to just have travel makeup. Then I did the same exact thing with my toiletries. I went and got my face wash in a travel size. I used Tatcha. I used the Tatcha Dewy Cream and I used the Tatcha Rice Water as moisturizer, one during the day, one during the night. I got that. I used the La Mer lotion treatment, whatever thing. I purchased that in a travel size. And a few other things I got in a travel size that's a part of my skincare routine because I don't do intense skincare when I'm traveling. And I put that all in a toiletry bag. And every single time that I travel, I do not have to think about traveling with makeup or traveling with toiletries because it's already there. If you're not checking a bag, you already know that the things you have in this bag pass through security. So you do not have to worry. When I tell you guys this is changed my life. Like a huge part of traveling, I no longer have to think about. So I went somewhere for my birthday. I did not have to think about traveling. I didn't have to think about like, ooh, does this pass this? Do I need this liquid size? Let me go get this. Ooh, do I need to restock on this? It's already done. It's already done. All of that. And I just realized that, packing liquids and packing makeup has been a big struggle. It has been a big struggle, and it has been really, really easy to eliminate that. So I say all that to say the Sephora sale is going on, and I think that is what you should do. I think that you should go invest in travel size stuff because I know a lot of people like to get like travel containers and put all their stuff in it. It just becomes a whole thing. Then you making a Target run to go get travel size stuff when you just have it right there. So that is my Sephora tip for you. Okay, I am another year older. And so I like to think about like what I have like learned in this next year of being older, and something hit me today. I went out for oysters with my man, and you know what? Something just hit me. I am no longer going to concern myself with the rude people of the world. I was at the airport. I had a rude encounter, cursed this lady out, all this stuff. And it like disturbed my spirit because when I like to go in public, I like to be real like zen. Like I ain't bothering nobody bothering me. And so I've decided I am not going to concern myself with the rude people of the world. I went through like so many places in the airport, and some people were like just so nice to me. The lady sitting next to me when I was waiting for my flight, she was so nice to me. When I went through border control, the border control person was really, really nice to me. There were just so many moments that were just like really, really nice people were around me. And so then when I was out today, like, there was nice experience, and it's just like, you know what? I am not going to let this world make me cold. You know, you go back and forth and be like, ooh, if somebody's rude, I'm gonna be rude to them too. And that's exactly how I was to that lady. But I'm just like, no, I am not going to let other people bring me out of my character. I am going to refuse to do it. There are so many people in this world who are so freaking kind and who lead life with so much kindness. And why not gravitate towards them? Why not focus on them? Why do we focus so much on the terrible people of the world, or just the rude people of the world? I don't know if they're terrible people, but of the rude people of the world. I think that's what my journey is more so. My journey is more so in just being like, it does not matter. So, speaking of Kenya Has Thought, I went and saw Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith was doing a book talk for her book in my city, and I went to it, and they asked Jada Pinkett for like advice for all of the years, and one of her advice was like, care less. And she is so damn right. She is so damn right. By the way, if you care, since this is Kenya Has Thoughts and I ramble, the Jada Pinkett talk was amazing. The Jada Pinkett talk was so freaking amazing. I had such a good time. She said some things that really like, whoa, blew my mind. I was not expecting some of the stuff that Jada Pinkett was saying, and not any of like the scandalous salation, none of that type of stuff. Just like stuff she was saying just simply just about life. Like, that had nothing having to do particularly with her. She had so much stuff to say about just life in general and just advice in general. And I thought it was so good. I thought the talk was so damn thoughtful. That's why it brings me to my first real topic of all of this. So yeah, other than that, focus on kindness. That's what I think going into my older years. I'm focusing on kindness. But another thing is these pop culture accounts. There we live in the urban blogger pop culture era where everyone is run by a headline and a quote. A headline and a quote. And I think it disgusts me, honestly. It disgusts me because people engage with these pop culture accounts like they're real journalism. Like, people will sit here and make a statement about something. So they'll quote tweet or they'll comment on these urban bloggers, these pop culture accounts, as if what they're saying has any validity to it, as if this is real journalism, as if any thought has been put into this. So I think Jada Pinkett was a victim of this with her memoir. I think Britney Spears as well was a victim of this with her memoir. People will do this with interviews of like people. These pop culture urban bloggers will literally just take one little sentence and they will just post it. And there's no link to article. If there is, no one's gonna click it. They're not trying to get you to read the article. It'd be one thing if you give me a juicy headline and the point is for me to go read the article. That's not what they're doing. They want a juicy headline to get people upset. And a lot of times these juicy headlines are rooted in misogyny, misogynoir, anti-blackness, and a bunch of other stuff. And it's just like, you're perpetuating this. You don't see you are also a big part of the problem in the radicalization issue, the unkindness that people spew to each other on the internet. You are a part of that because you literally just take small little things out of context and you give it to people in order for them to react. So you can get $12 from Elon Musk. You're doing this. You're having people say the worst things about certain people or the worst things about certain politics and stuff because you decided to take a sentence that you know people are going to read a certain way. And you blast this to people and you think you're innocent because, hey, they could have went to go read the article, but you know your audience is dumb. You know your audience is dumb and you know exactly what you are doing. And I hate it. I hate it so freaking much. The out of context, here's a sentence. And like when you go read the article, for the few people who do, it just has nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with anything. Like I said, Jada Pinkett was a victim of that. Just taking little parts of her memoir and just making it seem like she was just saying all this stuff, and it's just like, it's out of context. But also, the people who have terrible media literacy, you're no better either. I'm not sitting here and removing responsibility from the people who are taking it in. Like, you could go read articles. You could go read articles and see what people are actually saying, but no one does that. So that brings me to a huge annoyance of mine. Pop culture and urban blogger accounts, because I do not think they get to evade responsibility and the issue we are having on the internet. I simply do not. And then all of a sudden, these small things become these big things. With the way people are able to share information on TikTok, people just take these small little press clippings and they run over to TikTok, make a viral TikTok. Now everybody believes the same bullshit. Everybody believes the same bullshit. Let's move on. Speaking of TikTok, let's discuss Keith Lee. Now, you guys know I am not someone who uses TikTok. If a TikTok comes in front of me, it's because my sister done sent me one, or one of y'all done sent me something. I'm not the scroller of TikTok. Therefore, I am not the audience of Mr. Keith Lee. But because I am black and I am on the internet, I know exactly who Keith Lee is. Keith Lee is someone who is based in Las Vegas, who does food reviews on his TikTok. His family is on it somehow. I know he has a wife, and what really made me a fan of Keith Lee was when Keith Lee's wife bought him a Bentley, I believe, and the Shade Room posted Keith Lee. This is exactly what the fuck I'm talking about in the last segment. The Shade Room posted Keith Lee in the Bentley. Mind you, the Shade Room has never posted anything about Keith Lee before, but the minute his wife buys him a Bentley, that's when they post him. And it's just like, Keith Lee got a Bentley from his wife. Thoughts? That's the fuck what I mean. What I mean is, they sit up there, these pop culture urban bloggers account put up these things, and they like to be like, thoughts, or just leave stuff there in order to get people dragged. Your intention with that, allegedly, your intention with that is to get this poor black woman dragged. For what? For what? This family who isn't bothering anyone, you want a bunch of strangers, the nastiest strangers you've ever seen, to say horrible things about this woman or about this family. And for what? Like I said, you know the audience you have is deranged, and you literally lean into it, and it's at the expense of people who don't deserve it. So anyway, back to Keith Lee. So that's what made me a fan of Keith Lee. Keith Lee made a whole video calling out the Shade Room for their fucking bullshit, for trying to set people who are minding their business up. And so I was like, yeah, Keith Lee, I know that's right. So anyways, Keith Lee has made his way down to Atlanta. Keith Lee is like on a food tour. He goes to different cities, and he has made his way down to Atlanta. And baby, he been saying the restaurants ain't hitting the way the restaurants ain't supposed to be hitting. Here is the thing. I'm gonna say this about any major city, and you listen to me, and you listen to me good. Atlanta falls into this, obviously. I don't eat at fake restaurants. And you can take that as it is. I feel like everyone has their own rules on what's a real restaurant and what's a fake restaurant. My rules for a fake restaurant is, if you know you are not in a walkable city, and your restaurant is sandwiched between a bunch of shit, and you don't got no means for parking, there's no valet, there's not even a pay to park across the street, there's just no way. I don't even care if it's just 4 or 5 parking spots. There's no way anyone can actually park to get to this. You're a fake restaurant. If you don't accept reservations, but you know you should be accepting reservations, you're a fake restaurant. If you don't give people actual waiting times when there is a wait, you don't actually put their name down, they just got to come in and hope there's a table in an hour, you're not a real restaurant. If you literally have no means at all to take to-go orders, but it gives to-go order type restaurant, you are not a real restaurant to me. If I walk into your restaurant and I'm getting yelled at by the staff for wanting to give you some business, you are not a real restaurant to me. If 5, 6, 7, 8 things are not in stock on your menu, that tells me you don't know how to order food for your restaurant. Therefore, you are not a real restaurant. If we ass to ankles in there, like I mean sandwiched together, sitting on top of each other, I can hear literally everything the table beside me is saying because I might as well be at their damn table. You are not a real restaurant. And these are just my criterias. These are just my criterias. Therefore, it don't take too much investigating for me to figure out what restaurants fall into that category, and I don't go. And I don't go. I simply do not go. And I think a lot of y'all would avoid the mess that y'all go get into with these restaurants if you too decided, oh, these people are not running a real establishment. These people are not running a respectable establishment, and I will not be partaking in the antics. Because in Atlanta, there are some really great restaurants in Atlanta. There are some really great restaurants in Atlanta. There are some people doing some absolutely amazing things in the Atlanta food culture, but there are people who are just piss fucking poor, who don't give a fuck about a fuck. They went into the restaurant industry to make $1 because that's what they felt like they needed to do with their money, and like it shows. But that's not what I'm here to talk about Keith Lee about. I am here to tell y'all to leave Keith Lee alone. I am here to tell y'all to leave Keith Lee alone. I have been hearing people say, what is Keith Lee's credentials? Why does Keith Lee get to do this? Why y'all listening to him? Because people want to. Because Keith Lee is a content creator. He creates content. And as long as there are people who want to watch him, why shouldn't he make the content that people want to see? Keith Lee is not sitting on TikTok and saying he is the end all be all. But even if he is saying that, why the fuck do you care? Like, you literally could just not tune in. You could literally just not. Keith Lee is not putting a gun to your head. Keith Lee is not saying y'all gotta listen to me, shut this restaurant down. He is not doing any of that. He is literally sitting in his car or sitting at home, I don't know, and he is telling you how he feels about a restaurant. And if you still want to go after that, I promise you Keith Lee is not going to be standing at the door by a gun telling you to get back in your car, you can't eat here. That's just simply not what Keith Lee is going to be doing. So why does Keith Lee need to have these credentials? He's saying if he likes someplace or not. And what's so funny is you pick up your phone and you do the same damn thing. Like, literally, like, what he's doing, all y'all, if you love the places, the Real Milk and Honey, if you love these places so much that Keith Lee said, you know, I did not have the best experience. If you love OLG, shout out to Candy, so damn bad, pick up your phone and be like, I had a great experience with the Real Milk and Honey. But also, if you do that, there's no reason to bring up Keith in that. There's no reason, because he made his video, now you make yours and you stand on your own. Keith Lee has not said nothing below the belt about none of these restaurants. He has not asked for a single one of these restaurants to be shut down. He has not. And then I hear the word on the street is death threats. Y'all trying to shoot somebody over some goddamn chicken and waffles? Don't piss me off. Absolutely not. Keith Lee is minding his business. And you want to know what? More of the men people need to be online making wholesome content like that, instead of making the podcast and the red pill and the insult mess that we be getting. Keith Lee ain't hurting nobody. And I just think, I don't know what it is about TikTok where people are really weird to content creators who make TikToks. Have you all looked into the comments of a TikTok ever? And have you seen people will say the darnest things about people who make this kind? And it's just like, what gave you the right? But I'm sure Keith Lee has learned, like I was saying earlier, sometimes you just got to focus on the kindness. Sometimes you just got to focus on the kindness. If you love eating at the grass wall restaurants, who am I? If you like eating at the restaurants that don't got no parking, if you like eating at the restaurants that don't let you split the check, if you like eating at the restaurants that don't tell you that they close, if you like eating at the restaurants that are open 2 times of the week, but you gotta guess what those 2 days are, more power to you. More power to you. But me with my doubloons, I'm not playing them games. I'm simply not playing them games because, like I said, in any major city, there are plenty of restaurants that are doing amazing things. And for the people who live in Atlanta and who are from Atlanta or something that you feel so hurt about Keith Lee, like I'm sure you have your restaurants you enjoy. Like Keith Lee went to like 4 or 5 restaurants. Like it's not that deep. Like surely there are other places. Atlanta just got its Michelin stars. Like sure, there are fine restaurants. I have had amazing meals in Atlanta. So like, then let it be that you don't have to sit up here and try to do what? Like bully Keith Lee off his opinion? I don't get it. I don't simply get it. So Keith Lee, you keep doing your thing. Let's move on to DJ Envy. So DJ Envy is a radio host out of New York City on The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is like syndicated everywhere. Like we all know Charlemagne, DJ Envy, Angela Yee has left the Breakfast Club, and I think they have a host that comes in and out. New host comes in and out. I don't know how that works, but anyways. So DJ Envy has a business partner. I'm not sure if it's his actual business partner, but we know at some point they was doing some foolings around. And he is allegedly been scamming the girls. His name is Caesar. And he has allegedly been caught in some real estate scams and some real estate fraud, allegedly. And basically, some people are saying they blame DJ Envy for all this because they found out about Caesar and his, scammy ways, allegedly, from DJ Envy. New York City, they did a whole news special on all this, and they had people who were alleged victims of Caesar and his crimes come on there, and they were talking about how, oh my gosh, it was DJ Envy who brought me in on this and all this stuff. You can read up on it, but there is 2 things I want to discuss with this. Number one, greed. When it comes to scamming people the way allegedly Caesar was out here scamming people allegedly, it comes from a place of greed. People are really, really greedy. But I'm also going to put some of the victims in this as well, but they are victims of capitalism. A lot. If you go watch the news special that New York City did, these were not poor people. There are some poor people who are victims of this, and I feel really bad for them. But there are some people in this who gave hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like these were not poor people. These were people who had means and gave their money. And I think it speaks to the culture that we are in. There is this culture that if you are not greedy, you are not working hard enough. If you are not trying to cut corners, if you are not trying to be king capitalist, you are doing something wrong. There's this idea that your station in life is never enough. Your station in life is never enough because the next man and the next man has this, and this. So you constantly need to do something. You constantly need to get more. So you're not to be comfortable that you have $50,000 in your bank account. You're not to be comfortable because you have $100, $200, $300,000 in your bank account. You need to go get more because this person has $2 million. This person has $3 million. And it makes you susceptible to scams. If you are constantly on this idea of greed, you are susceptible to these types of scams. You are, because you're listening to what everyone else is saying. So sit back and ask yourself, is the money you have worked hard for worth whatever scheme, trick, Ponzi, MLM that someone is throwing in your face? Is it? Or should you be comfortable with where you are? And you know what? Maybe all money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. And my money that I have right now is good money. And I don't constantly need to elevate my station, because another person who is also greedy is the scammer. The scammer is also capitalist in the mind, like the capitalism has taken over their mind because they trying to figure out how to come up. It's not lost on me that DJ Envy is not broke. DJ Envy is not a broke person. DJ Envy got a good job down at the radio station. He does not need to be involved in any of this. And he could still live a very, very comfortable life. But once again, it's the greed of it all. It's this like, you got to rise above your station. You got to do more. You got to do more. And it's just like, why? Why? And it's how everyone gets wrapped up in this, you know? And so if we unplug a little bit, the next thing is, if somebody coming to you with the lick, you the lick. That's all I'm gonna say. I want you to sit back and look at your life. Look at your life if you're someone who's thinking about investing in your homeboy, this. Look at your life and ask yourself, if something was such a get-rich-quick scheme, if something was such the thing that I should be doing, would it be on my front steps? Like, I'm just thinking about, if somebody came to me with a real estate scheme, why me? If this is really just selling like hotcakes, if people just really getting rich, why would it be at little old me's doorstep? Like, don't it just seem a little fishy to you? Like, it seemed too good to be true. So I also want y'all to like, think about things like, why would they be, if somebody coming to you with a quick lick and you got to give X, Y, and Z amount of dollars, you're probably the lick. It's just like during COVID when everybody was doing those like, you know, Bitcoin bullshit scams. Join me and I can help you. Give me $500. I'll turn it into $5,000. When people was doing all of that, it's just like, if they was making money like this, if they was making money like this, they wouldn't be on Instagram sitting here trying to get you. They wouldn't be sending you messages on Snapchat trying to get you. They clearly in some bullshit too. They in some bullshit and got roped up. Now they trying to rope you up too. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we gotta think a little bit, family, because I don't want y'all getting caught up out here. We gotta think a little bit, family. Anyways, I think that's all of my thoughts this week. Go get you some travel sizes. I think that's what I want y'all to take from all this. 2 things I want you to take from all this. Don't focus on negativity because it only makes you negative. And two, go get you some travel sizes. It changes your life. When I went, all I have to do is it doesn't matter if I'm traveling long distance or if I'm just going down to my mama's house to stay for a couple days. All I gotta do is grab my 2 toiletry bags and it's done. It's just not even a thought. It's just not even a thought no more. Anyways, love you guys to pieces, and I will see you guys in the next one.